the spotlight tonight is Frances Gregory from Saffron Walden, an English teacher, and her specialist subject is Peter Cook. David Down from Derby, a retired civil servant, and his subject is Claude Monet. Stan Rothwell from Cheltenham, a verger. His subject, the films of Errol Flynn. And Terry Satchell from Birmingham, a warehouse manager whose subject is the life and reign of Edward VI. I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Mastermind. 4 contenders have been preparing for months for their ordeal in the black chair, and tonight they get the chance to prove their mettle. They'll have 2 minutes on their chosen subject and 2 minutes on general knowledge. So, let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Frances Gregory.
Your occupation?
An English teacher.
And your chosen subject?
The life and career of Peter Cook.
Peter Cook in 2 minutes. Peter Cook followed in his father's footsteps by attending which Cambridge college?
Pembroke.
Correct. At which Edinburgh theatre did the revue Beyond the Fringe first open in August 1960?
Pass.
While Cook was an undergraduate, he wrote material for which comedian's revues Pieces of 8 and 1 over the 8?
Kenneth Williams.
Yes. Which fellow chat show guest did Cook describe as a vain, untalented non-event while
Jar
both
Gabor.
were appearing on the Eamon Andrews show?
Jar Gabor.
Yes. What was the title of the short story for which Cook won the Medrington Trophy while he was at Radley College?
Bric-a-brac.
Yes, in the great train robbery sketch, Cook, playing the head of Scotland Yard, tells the interviewer that the police have arrested whom on the basis of identikit evidence?
The Archbishop of Canterbury.
Yes, which surname is shared by the one-legged man applying for the job of Tarzan and Cook's character in the film Bedazzled?
Spigot.
Yes, according to Peter Cook's football manager character, Alan Latchley, who appeared on Clive Anderson Talks Back. What are the 3 M's?
Motivation, motivation, motivation.
Yes, what was the name of Cook's business partner with whom he founded the so-called satirical nightclub, The Establishment, in Soho in 1961?
Nick Luard.
Yes, in the very early days of Private Eye, Cook suggested which permanent feature of the cover to the then editor, Christopher Booker?
The Bubble Pictures.
Yes. Who presented the late-night radio show on LBC, which Cook would frequently telephone, pretending to be a lovelorn Norwegian called Sven?
Clive Bull.
Yes, what was the title of the monologue delivered by Cook in The Secret Policeman's Ball, which parodied the judges summing up in the Jeremy Thorpe trial?
Purely a Matter for You.
Yes, entirely a matter for you. What was the title of Cook's song, which reached number 34 in the charts in 1965?
That would have been The Ballad of Spotty Muldoon.
It would indeed. As part of the manifesto for E.L. Wistey's World Domination League, it was proposed that C.P. Snow and Alan Freeman should be replaced by what?
Robots.
No, trees. What did Cook demand should accompany him during a pro-celebrity golf game in response to James Hunt insisting on taking his dog?
Pass.
When Pete and Dud are discussing reincarnation in the 1965 religion sketch, whom does Pete say he'd like to come back as? Take a guess.
Himself.
No, Grace Kelly. Slightly different, but there we are. Your 2 passes. Cook wanted to accompany him during that celebrity golf round, his goldfish. And it was at the Lyceum, that was the Edinburgh Theatre, where he did that review. 2 passes, Frances Gregory, 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
David Down.
Your occupation?
Retired civil servant.
And your chosen subject?
The life and works of Claude Monet.
Claude Monet in 2 minutes. In 1845, Claude Monet's family moved from Paris to which port in Normandy?
Le Havre.
Yes. What's the alternative title of his life-size painting of Camille, who became his first wife, which he produced in 1866?
The Woman in Green.
Yes, the woman in the green dress. Monet claimed that he would have starved without the help of which art dealer whom he'd met in London in 1870 and who'd previously specialised in the Barbizon painters?
Paul Durand-Ruel.
Yes, in the third Impressionist exhibition of 1877, Monet exhibited views of which Paris railway station and its immediate surroundings?
Gare Saint-Lazare.
Yes, what is the title of his first known oil painting, a landscape that he produced in 1858?
Countryside at Rothwell.
Yes. After his return from national service in Algeria in 1862, Monet entered whose studio, where he met Renoir, Sisley and Basile?
Glares.
Correct. In 1885, Guy de Maupassant stayed with him at which coastal resort whose beach cliffs and man-pot featured in several of Monet's works?
Etretat.
Yes, according to the art critic Virginia Spate, which 1875 painting that Monet produced in Asnières is his only work depicting industrial labour?
The coal miners.
No, unloading coal. Who owned the studio boat known as the Bottin, which inspired Monet to convert a rowing boat into a studio so he could paint on the river itself?
Manet.
Daubigny. From 1878, Monet lived with his family in which small town on the Seine, where his wife died on the 5th of September 1879?
Vertuil.
Yes. What was the full name of the art dealer who organised the one-man show of Monet's Antibes painting at the Bousseau and Valadon Gallery in Paris in 1888?
Georges Petit.
No, Theo van Gogh. Monet painted his views of London from his window at which hotel during his visit in 1899?
The Savoy.
Yes. From which eye condition did Monet suffer for many years before finally undergoing surgery in 1923?
Cataracts.
Yes. What did Monet paint at sunrise in Chailly in 1865 and also in 1890 when he made a series of studies that depicted them under different light conditions?
Haystacks.
Yes, in 1921 it was agreed that, finish the question, it was agreed that Monet's water lily sequence would be presented to the French nation as a symbol of peace and installed in which building in the Tuileries in Paris?
L'Orangerie.
Yes, it was. You had no passes, David Down. You have 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Stan Rothwell.
Your occupation?
Verger.
And your chosen subject?
The films of Errol Flynn.
The films of Errol Flynn in 2 minutes. Which actress was Flynn's most frequent co-star, having appeared with him in 8 films between 1935 and 41?
Olivia de Havilland.
Correct. In The Adventures of Robin Hood, under what name does Robin compete in the archery contest organised by Prince John and the Sheriff of Nottingham while he's disguised as a tinker?
Pass.
Flynn played the role of the Confederate officer Leif Barstow in which 1950 film that was to be his last appearance in a Western?
Montana.
Rocky Mountain. What's the name of the pirate haven where Captain Blood strikes up an agreement that he later comes to regret with the French pirate Levasseur?
Pass.
In Dodge City, what incriminating evidence leads Sheriff Wade Hatton to arrest Yancey for the murder of the newspaper proprietor Joe Clemens?
He had the tickets for the cattle in his possession.
No, ink on his hand. Which song and dance number did Flynn perform in the 43 film Thank Your Lucky Stars?
That's what you jolly well get.
Yes, and the 54 film Lilacs in the Spring was released under what title in America?
Pass.
What is the name of the privateering ship captained by Geoffrey Thorpe, which he sails to the New World to capture Spanish treasure in the Seahawk?
The Albatross.
Yes, and They Died with Their Boots On. Lieutenant Custer is promoted to which rank during the Civil War because of an administrative error?
Brigadier General.
Yes, which actor who often played Flynn's rough-hewn sidekick first appeared with him in The Prince of the Pauper as the captain of the guard?
Alan Hale.
Yes, in The Sun Also Rises, what does Mike Campbell wave at the charging cow in the Pamplona bull ring?
A red handkerchief.
No, a check. Which actor plays the role of the reigning world heavyweight champion John L. Sullivan, who's defeated by James J. Corbett in the biopic Gentleman Jim?
Ward Bond.
Yes, in the Santa Fe Trail, the consignment of rifles collected by the militant abolitionist John Brown is disguised as what?
Bibles.
Yes. For which 1951 film set in New Orleans is Flynn credited with the adaptation and the screenplay, although this is sometimes disputed?
The Adventures of Captain Fabian.
Correct. In the charge of the Light Brigade, whose troops destroy the garrison of the 27 Lancers at Chakotay?
The Emir of Surat-Stan.
Now, Surat Khan, you had 3 passes. The film Lilacs in the Spring was released under the title of Let's Make It Up. Tortuga was the name of the pirate haven. And Godfrey of Sherwood was the name under which Robin competed. So, 3 passes. Stan Rothwell, 8 points. And our last contender, please. And your name is?
Terry Satchel,
Your occupation?
warehouse manager.
And your chosen subject?
The life and reign of Edward VI.
Edward VI in 2 minutes. In which royal palace was Edward born on the 12th of October, 1537?
Hampton Court.
Correct. What power did the Lord Protector Somerset obtain by letters patent in March 1547, which enabled him to rule on his own authority?
Pass.
Archbishop Cranmer compared Edward to which biblical king during his coronation ceremony?
Josiah.
Yes, which town near Edinburgh, south of the Firth of Forth, was garrisoned by Somerset for a period following his victory at Pinkie?
Hadlington.
Haddington. Edward's uncle, Sir Thomas Seymour, was associated with the appropriation of funds from which city's mint, thus strengthening the case for his arrest on a charge of treason?
York.
Bristol, who was appointed as Bishop of Gloucester in 1550 and provoked a crisis over episcopal vestments?
John Hooker.
Hooper. Which distinguished European religious reformer who was resident in England dedicated his treatise De Regnio Christi to Edward in 1551?
Bloor.
Butzer. What is the name of the Regius Professor of Greek at Cambridge who was responsible for much of Edward's education?
John Cheek.
Yes, in October 1551, who revealed that he'd been involved with the Duke of Somerset in a treasonable conspiracy against the king?
Lord Paget.
Thomas Palmer. Which order of chivalry was remodelled and had its ordinances rewritten by Edward?
The Order of the Garter.
Yes. Which supporter of Somerset attempted a programme of agrarian reform in the 1548 Parliament, but saw three of his most important measures defeated?
John Cheltenham.
John Hales. Henry VIII tried to secure whom as a bride for Edward in 1543, even though she was yet to celebrate her first birthday?
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yes,
Mary
Mary Tudor fled to which house in Norfolk in the days before Edward's death in order to escape capture by the Duke of Northumberland?
Hadlington.
Kenninghall. At which village east of Exeter did Lord Russell win a decisive victory against the Western rebels on the 4th and 5th of August 1549?
Cleobury Mortimer.
Clyst St Mary. You had just the one pass. The power that Somerset obtained was the power to appoint privy councillors. One pass, Terry Satchel, 5 points. So that's the specialist round done. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 5 points, Terry Satchel. In 3rd place with 8 points, Stan Rothwell. In joint 1st place with 12 points apiece, Francis Gregory and David Down. So, general knowledge now, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes get taken into account, and the person with the fewest passes is the winner. And if there's still a tie, well, then there is a 5-question playoff. So, let's get on with the general knowledge round and ask Terry Satchel to join us again, if you would, please. Edward VI, the only legitimate son of Henry VIII?
Yes. Yes.
First Protestant king?
First truly Protestant rather than English Catholicism.
He was only, what, 9 when he inherited the throne?
That's right.
So what happened? What did they do? How did they run the country?
A Regency Council, 16 Privy Councillors, 12 assistants.
So he died when? How old was he?
At 15.
He wasn't there for long, was he? He never really got to be king properly, did he?
There's a great deal of contention about that. Towards the end, he was showing himself as a monarch. He had the spirit of his father. He was scholastically quite advanced. He spoke several languages very well, something that Henry had never really mastered. But he was the only one. If there'd been another legitimate son of Henry, who knows?
But not one of the great monarchs.
Probably not, but the potential was all there.
Right, you have 5 points. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge in 2 minutes. Who became the first head of Soviet Russia following the October Revolution in 1917?
Lenin.
Yes, which historian presented the series The Power of Art on BBC Two in the autumn of 2006?
Dan Cruikshank.
Simon Sharma. According to the title of Shakespeare's play, the nobleman Timon was from which city?
Athens.
Yes. Which language does the word algebra originally come from, in which it means reunion of broken parts?
Arabic.
Yes. Cerys Matthews was the lead singer with which group from its formation in the early 90s till she left in 2001?
Catatonia.
Yes. Which national park is bounded on the west by the Vale of York, on the east by the North Sea?
North Yorkshire National Park.
The North York Moors, yeah. Which word can mean both an infective agent and a programme inserted into a computer system without the user's knowledge or permission?
Virus.
Yes. Henry Olonga became the first black cricketer to play for which country when he made his Test debut against Pakistan in 1995?
Zimbabwe.
Yes, which type of roses get their name because many of the varieties have a scent resembling a popular drink?
Hybrid tea.
Yes. Grants, Speaks and Thompsons are all species of which small antelope?
Gazelle.
Yes, which Doncaster-born soprano plays the Mother Abbess in the Sound of Music production that opened at the London Palladium in November 2006?
Pass.
In May 1915, which future Prime Minister was appointed Britain's first Minister of Munitions?
Clement Attlee.
David Lloyd George. Which South African city was founded in 1886 after the discovery of gold in the area?
Pietermaritzburg.
Johannesburg. The name of which fruit comes from the Latin for plum of Damascus?
Damson.
Yes. Where did a major British force under the command of General Cornwallis surrender on the 19th of October 1781 after a siege of about 3 weeks, thereby virtually ending military operations in the American War of Independence?
Chesapeake Bay.
Yorktown. In which 1988 film, I started so I'll finish, do Glenn Close and John Malkovich star as two rich, bored French aristocrats who play games of seduction and betrayal?
Dangerous Liaisons.
Dangerous Liaisons it is. You passed on one question. It was Leslie Garrett who played the Mother Abbess. That one pass, a total, Terry Satchel, of 16 points. And now Stan Rothwell, please. Errol Flynn, the greatest of the swashbucklers, Hollywood swashbucklers?
Indeed, yes, he was, without a doubt.
Why?
Because he just played the part to the hilt. When you saw him on screen, he was Robin Hood, he was Captain Blood.
But actually, he was Errol Flynn all the time, in a way, wasn't he?
He,
Because he was, I mean, in real life, he was a real rake, wasn't he?
well, there's a lot of stuff written about him, and if half of it is true, then yes, he was.
Not a great actor, but a memorable one.
He could act more than people thought, I think, because he did play very part. But obviously, he's remembered for the Robin Hoods and Captain Bloods.
Well, you scored 8 points with your knowledge of Errol Flynn. Let's try you on general knowledge now.
Okay.
Here we go. Which word used in chess also describes a person who is easily manipulated and expendable?
A pawn.
Yes, who became the first president of France's Fifth Republic in 1958?
De Gaulle.
Yes, which breed of terrier originating in the Isle of Skye is named after the rocky piles of stones from which it chased out vermin?
Pass.
What specific name is given to that part of Yukon Territory in northwest Canada where gold was discovered in Bonanza Creek in 1896?
Klondike.
Yes, herpetology is the study of reptiles and which other class of animals?
Pass.
In which 1967 film does Michael Crawford play Lieutenant Ernest Goodbody, who leads a bunch of military misfits, including Roy Kinnear as Clapper and John Lennon as Gripweed?
Have I won the war?
Yes. Who left ITN to take over as the BBC's political editor after Andrew Marr stepped down in 2005?
Pass.
What's the meaning of the Spanish preposition hasta, as in the expression hasta la vista?
Good.
Until. Which cat does T.S. Eliot describe as the Napoleon of crime in his Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats?
Pass.
Which 19th century war takes its name from the peninsula, now in the Ukraine, where most of the fighting took place?
Crimea.
Yes. Which major British ferry port lies on Holy Island off the coast of Anglesey?
Holyhead.
Yes. Joe Strummer, who died in December 2002, was the lead singer with which chart-topping punk band?
Pass.
By how many votes did James Callaghan lose the vote of confidence in March 1979 that finally forced him to call a general election?
1.
Yes. Ian Woosnam dedicated Europe's victory in the 2006 Ryder Cup to the recently deceased wife of which team member?
Lee Westwood.
Darren Clark. What's the name of the code of silence about criminal activity that's practiced by the mafia?
Pass.
Which vegetable, when cut, releases the irritant sulfur-containing gas propantheal S oxide?
Onion.
Yes. What is the name of the cemetery in Paris where Frédéric Chopin, Oscar Wilde and Edith Piaf, among other famous people, are buried? Take a guess. Think of a cemetery.
Longchamp.
No. Père Lachaise. You had 6 passes altogether. Omerta is the code of silence. Joe Strummer was the lead singer of The Clash. McCavity was the cat. Nick Robinson is the BBC's political editor. Amphibians, herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians. And the Cairn Terrier originated in the Isle of Skye. 6 passes, Stan Rothwell, 16 points. And now, Francis Gregory, please. Peter Cook.
Yes.
Stephen Fry said he was the funniest man who ever drew breath. Do you go along with that?
He certainly did some remarkably funny things. He could improvise anything at any time. Most of his sketches were based on something he'd improvised. A lot of it when he was at Pembroke, some of it even when he was at Radley.
He was a wee bit unkind about David Frost, wasn't he?
Well, a lot of people were a wee bit unkind about David Frost around about that time. He was asked if he had any regrets. He said the only thing he regretted was saving David Frost from drowning.
Yes. Not very kind, really.
Probably it was for effect. I think most things that Peter Cook said were for effect. I think you very rarely heard anything that actually came from the heart. And I think Peter Cook felt that very much when he went off to America to do Beyond the Fringe. Really, David Frost took over the job that he possibly should have had, being the front man for satire on television in Britain. And by the time he came back, because they were there for so long, really the satire boom was virtually over and nobody was terribly interested anymore.
Very funny man for all that.
Extraordinarily.
You have 12 points with your knowledge of him. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. Here we go. Which country music legend was initially backed by the Tennessee 2 and then for many years by the Tennessee 3?
Johnny Cash?
Yes. Which European dictator who'd ruled his country since 1939 died on 20th of November 1975 after a long illness?
Tito?
Franco. Two cities stand on the River Itchen. Southampton's one. What's the other?
Winchester?
Yes. Jean Rhys's Wide Sargasso Sea tells of an Englishman's disastrous marriage to a young Creole woman in the West Indies. To which novel is it regarded as a prequel?
Gone with the Wind.
Jane Eyre. On which day of the week is Ladies' Day held at the Ascot Royal Meeting in June?
Thursday?
Yes. What's the common name of Malus domestica, one of the world's oldest cultivated fruit trees?
Pass.
Which husky-like breed of dog is named after the Siberian people who kept it as a sled dog and as a herd dog for their reindeer?
Samoyed?
Yes. Which television puppet first appeared on our screens in a 1946 edition of For the Children, in which he clomped about on a piano top while John Mill's sister Annette sang songs?
Sooty?
Muffin the Mule. What name is shared by 3 kings of Scotland, 3 tsars of Russia and 7 popes?
Peter?
Alexander. Which general term used especially in gardening is applied to plants native to mountainous areas?
Alpine?
Yes, literally meaning marrow bone. Which Italian dish consists of veal knuckle typically braised in white wine with onion and tomato?
Ossobuco?
Yes, what's the surname of Jake and Dinos, the brothers nominated for the Turner Prize in 2003, who are noted for their outrageous artwork?
Gordon?
Chapman. The 1956 science fiction film Forbidden Planet was loosely based on which Shakespeare play?
Pass.
Which word for a light wooden lattice frame used for supporting fruit trees or creeping plants comes from the Latin for 3-ply?
Trellis?
Yes. According to the former American Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, what is the great aphrodisiac?
Power?
Power is indeed the great aphrodisiac. You had 2 passes. The Tempest was the Shakespeare play that I was looking for, and Malus domestica is the apple tree. So there we are. 2 passes, Francis Gregory, 20 points. And finally, David Down, please. Claude Monet. You could have chosen any number of impressionists. Why him?
I think he's the most accessible. He's actually painted things we can see, that we can actually relate to. The river, the sea.
Lots of artists do that.
Lots of artists do it, but not perhaps quite as well, in my view.
So what made his painting so much better?
I think it was partly his obsession with light, I think, really took him above the rest of his peers. The fact that he had umpteen canvases possibly on the go at the same time to reflect the changes in light that were happening as he sat in the open-air painting.
And if you could have one hanging on your wall?
Well, I think we'd all like one as part of our pension funds, wouldn't we? I think that'd be cool.
Well, yes. But apart from that...
I think the Impression Sunrise, just because it's an introduction to the rest of them, for me, seems to have that certain something. Just that certain something.
Right. Now, you have 12 points. The score you have to beat is 20. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge. 2 minutes. Who said, "I love doing sequels" in the course of his acceptance speech when re-elected as Governor of California in 2006?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes. In which present-day country is Mount Ararat, where Noah's Ark is supposed to have come to rest?
Turkey.
Yes. What's the alternative and more common name of the flower trumpet narcissus?
Buttercup.
Daffodil. Which Dickens character is last heard of as a pillar of the community in the Australian settlement of Port Middlebay?
Pass.
Which Oscar-winning animation studio based in Bristol is particularly noted for producing the plasticine duo Wallace and Gromit?
Nick Park's studio.
Aardman Animations. Who was Britain's Prime Minister at the outbreak of World War I in 1914?
Asquith.
Yes. Which businessman coined the name Carlos Kickerball for foreign football players of dubious value when he was chairman of Spurs?
Alan Sugar.
Yes. Which range of hills reaches the sea at Beachy Head?
The South Downs.
Yes. What term often used in falconry and derived from the Latin for nest is given to an unfledged hawk?
A chick.
No, an ayas. Which pioneer in popular photography left a note saying, "To my friends, my work is done, why wait?" before he shot himself?
Eastman.
George Eastman, yes. In 2005, Sir Reg MP succeeded David Trimble as the leader of which political party?
The Ulster Unionist.
Yes. Which German word is used for the ghostly double of a living person?
Doppelganger.
Yes. What was the name of the chapel in the Palace of Westminster where the House of Commons met from about 1548 till it was destroyed by fire in 1834?
Prince Henry's Chapel.
St Stephen's Chapel. Which professional poker player and dentist has been played in films by Victor Mature, Kirk Douglas, Dennis Quaid and Val Kilmer, among others?
Doc Holliday.
Yes. Which artist was born in Dublin in October 1909 and was the son of a racehorse trainer?
Pass.
In which city is the site from which Muslims believe Muhammad ascended to heaven?
Medina.
No, Jerusalem. You had 2 passes. Francis Bacon was the artist who was the son of a racehorse trainer, and Mr. Micawber was last heard of in Port Middlebay. But you've got 21 points. Well, that's the end of the contest. Let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place with 16 points, Stan Rothwell and Terry Satchel. Second place with 20 points, Francis Gregory. Pipped at the post because with 21 points, David Down. Which means, of course, that David Down goes through to the next round. Congratulations to him. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
New Zealand fighting for one more win over the Americans next in highlights of the America's Cup. We're coming together through food with chefs from the central region on the Great British Menu at 2:15. In the Southern Ocean at 2:45, explore a strange underwater world on BBC Two.